Maybe it looked terrifying. Now it's got
It's supposed to look terrifying. It's ghost hunting.
If you are a lover of all things dark, spooky, haunted history, you have found the right place. I'm Taylor. Let's go fright seeing. Hello and welcome. I'm so excited that we're doing this. This is the first episode of my new series, Let's Go Fright Seeing, which is a series where I will give you my best spooky tales for my travels. Fright seeing is exactly what it sounds like. You're going sightseeing, but it's all spooky and creepy and all the weird things that are the funnest things to learn about new places. So the way this is going to work is that there will be some vlogging clips, there will be some of this. We'll just chat with each other about the things that I learned and some of the invest Googling that I did since I got home to tell you even more fun spooky facts. And then there will also be an episode guide that goes with each of these places that I stay that will give you the places I stayed, some of the coolest things to do, and the most delicious places that I ate while I was on my travels. Those will all be linked in the description box of each episode, or you can find them at letsgofrightseeing.com. In today's episode, I'm going to tell you about the first part of my trip to the Pacific Northwest. My husband, Zach, and I flew into the Seattle airport, rented a car, and then drove the breathtakingly beautiful drive up the Oregon coast to the Heceta Lighthouse bed and breakfast. And then we drove into Portland and stayed overnight downtown and did some fun ghost walking tours and spooky things. Today's episode is going to be all about the Heceta Lighthouse, which is one of the most gorgeous places I've ever been in my life. And by the way, none of these videos are sponsored. Maybe someday, but this one is not. I found this lighthouse B&B as I was searching for haunted places to visit. So the Heceta Lighthouse was something that we 10 out of 10 loved. I would recommend it 1,000,000% if you can ever go there. Go, you will see. The drive out to the Heceta Lighthouse was one of the most gorgeous things I have ever seen. We just don't have green stuff like that in Utah, and that is why I love visiting Washington and Oregon and that whole area. As we drove in, the sun was setting along the ocean, and it was the most magical and insane thing I have ever seen. And then we pulled up to the lighthouse. We couldn't see a lot of the view because it was dark by the time we got there, but the next morning we were blown away at the view from the lighthouse. There's like this giant cliff that goes out onto the ocean. You can hear the waves. It was incredible. So the weekend that we were there was actually the 129th birthday of the lighthouse, which was built in 1894. From the time the lighthouse lamp was originally lit up until the 1960s, this was where the lighthouse keepers and their families lived and took care of the lighthouse. The first 8 years of this lighthouse were very challenging for the workers who tried to make this lighthouse their home. Many of them were unable to handle the isolation that came with being a lighthouse keeper and left shortly after they started their jobs there. At that time, there was just a single wagon-sized road up to the lighthouse, which was how they transported some of the building materials to build the lighthouse. It sounds exhausting because even in a car, that drive is a little makes you kind of nervous because you're curving around, and I can't imagine being on a horse and carriage trying to go through that area. So while some people were bringing supplies up on wagons all the way up the mountain, there were other materials that were actually placed on rafts and pushed overboard at the nearby Cape Cove to float to the shore. The tide would come in and they would go and grab the supplies they needed, walk them all the way up the side of the cliff to go and finish making the lighthouse. The fact that this lighthouse is there is kind of a miracle on its own. The cliffs are so steep, I can only imagine how hard that would have been to make this happen. I was like complaining, dragging my rolling suitcase, okay? The head lighthouse keeper, Olaf Hansen, worked for over 15 years to create a sustainable community around the lighthouse. Olaf started vegetable gardens, a schoolhouse, and the Heceta post office. In the 1930s, the construction of Highway 101 finally finished, ending the complete isolation of the people living at the lighthouse. This also allowed them to get electricity there and made the lighthouse a lot easier to manage. During World War II, the Coast Guard manned Heceta Head with 75 men and many attack dogs guarding the beaches from Florence to Yachats. I pray that I'm saying that correctly. I looked it up. I think that's correct. Yachats? I'm sure you'll tell me if I'm wrong. There was only one civilian allowed on that property during that entire time, and that was the head lighthouse keeper of that time. His name was Cap Herman. At the end of the war, the Coast Guard still manned the lighthouse to help with navigation for the ships, and 2 more lighthouse keepers and their families returned until 1963, when the lighthouse became fully automated through computers and there was no longer a need for them to babysit the lighthouse all the time. For a while after that, from 1970 to 1995, the inn was used as a satellite campus for the Lane Community College, where students would take classes on the first level of the house, and then there were shared dorms up on the second level. Lighthouse was eventually put on the National Registry of Historic Places in 1973, and in 1995, it was turned into a bed and breakfast so that the public could enjoy the property and keep the history and the tales of the lighthouse keepers alive. After all, they did work very hard to get the lighthouse going in the first place and to keep it running and going through the many, many 129 years up until this point. At the current bed and breakfast, there are 6 rooms that host up to 15 guests, so it's nice and small and cozy. The bed and breakfast is absolutely beautiful, and as part of your stay, they actually include a cheese and wine social when you arrive, and then there is a 7-course breakfast that they cook, and you sit all together, all of the guests at a big table and chat, and it was just the most beautiful experience. I loved it so much. But it's not all fun and games, okay? Because it's also super spooky. We got to the lighthouse right as the sun went down, and then we got settled in and decided to go explore the area around the lighthouse. The most haunted room in the inn is Victoria's room, but we didn't stay in that room because it was already booked, but we did stay in the Cape Cove room that had a terrifying little ladder that led up to an attic that is supposedly very haunted, and it definitely gave me that spooky feeling in my heart. Hi, Zachary.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Just getting signed into the Wi-Fi because there's 0 service here.
Yep, that's extra spooky.
Yep.
So, did you know that inside this closet is this little staircase that goes up to the attic that people say allegedly is super haunted? But the only thing in here it's these beautiful, delicious, comfy robes. Hopefully no ghosts, unless there is. The good news is, we're only here for one night. So if it is haunted, it's fine.
It'd be okay. Like, the ghosts can only get us, like, one night, and maybe they have too many people to deal with. Still, though.
We have this lovely bed with this beautiful quilt. We can't. In a haunted hotel.
I mean,
What if the ghost sees it?
they'll have shake the bed.
Zachary. Maybe they'll like it. Maybe it will make the ghost come out. Maybe it will make the ghost who lives here is named Rue, because this is the lighthouse keeper's house. And so their wives also lived here with them, and people believe that Rue is one of the wives of one of the lighthouse keepers over the years that it was open. They don't have any specific documentation of this particular wife, and that's because the women and children didn't get to be documented, only the lighthouse keeper men. Typical men.
The patriarchy.
Is actually a binder that the B&B keeps that is full of different stories from guests who have had haunted happenings during their stays. Hi, look it! This is the Heceta Head Lighthouse bed and breakfast. Over there is the lighthouse. This is where we stayed last night. It's allegedly, I believe it. I'm a believer. I didn't experience anything, but I believe it's haunted because there are dozens of stories from the 129 years that this has been here. So the first known haunting was in 1975. There was a whole newspaper article about it. And I guess there was a window up in that attic that broke, and the person that did maintenance on this house refused to go back into that attic because when he went in to fix the broken window, he saw a ghostly apparition and was so terrified that he left and never came back. And the next time the window got broken, he fixed it from outside the house, and the glass was still on the floor that allegedly ended up swept into a clean pile later on. So apparently the ghost that lives here she likes things neat and tidy. There were multiple stories about her over the years, and at one point, some college students stayed here. They whipped out the Ouija board. Don't do that. But they talked to the spirit, and they learned that her name is Rue. So that is now what she is known as, is Rue, the lighthouse ghost. I like to think she's here. And everyone that's had an experience at this house has said that it's been nothing but positive. She just likes things to stay kept nice and tidy. Another story that was listed was a guest who stayed in the Cape Cove room, which was our room, who said that she woke up in the middle of the night because she felt a presence climb into bed with her. And she said that at first she was kind of concerned about this experience, but then after she realized she was unharmed, she made it through the night. She said that she was kind of honored to have experienced something so spooky in that room. I gotta be honest, part of me really wants to have one of these experiences, but a bigger, much more scared part of me knows that I'm just not ready. I'm just not ready. I think I would panic. The bed and breakfast loves to lean into the history and the stories about the lighthouse, and they actually have lanterns and flashlights for you to use so that you can go and walk up to the actual lighthouse and take full advantage of that spooky history kind of option, which we definitely did. How about now? Is this helping?
You look terrifying. Now it's got
It's
you.
supposed to look terrifying. It's ghost hunting.
Let's go. Let's go fright seeing. Okay, this is not going to focus because the lighting is so horrendous, but we're out at the lighthouse. It took us 5 minutes to walk up here from the B&B. Look at it behind us. I'm going to take out my EMF reader just to see. Okay, to do a test. This is obviously, it's not doing anything to, okay, electric. Right, okay. I don't have anything in my hands or in my pockets. We're just gonna see. We're gonna see if we pick anything up as we walk over here. Are you ready, Zachary?
Yes.
That's haunted. Do you see? Can you see it all, or is it like the
Yeah.
lighting's so bad?
No, it's in focus now.
That's haunted.
All good.
Let's see. If this lights up, I swear to crap. Hello? Anyone home? Anybody home? Nobody home here. That's sad. I mean, but it's not like a lighthouse keeper live there. It scared me so bad. A ghost. Just kidding, it's humans.
Even scarier.
You know what's scarier than a ghost? A human. Wow. Look at it. Let me turn off my... No ghosts. Oh my gosh. Look at how beautiful. To keep this out. No ghosties around these parts.
Yet.
See, but that's good though because it's got a tester, right? See, it does it when it's on this, and it's not on anything. So if something pops up, hello? Oh, did you see? Is it because I touched it? It's because I touched it. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Testing is important. We have to double check the science, okay? Otherwise, it's just junk science. Hello? Is there anyone around here? This is making me very nervous. Never talked to a ghost before. Knock, knock, knock. Clink, clink, clink. Is anyone home? What do you think? Do you think ghosts are real?
Me? Yes.
I think so too. What did that guy say on our tour in Vegas? Hauntings are just history. I found a friend. But it's a potato bug. What would a lighthouse keeper want to be asked? Is anyone home? You can hear the wind rustling through there, and it sounds insane, like 100 ghosts.
It's not actually the wind. It is 100 ghosts.
Oh my god, it's 100 ghosts. That's why I can't get to them, because they're in there.
We're trapped.
Hello? Is anyone here with us? They're like, no, stupid, we didn't live out here, we lived inside. I don't know about this. Okay, so if you were the lighthouse keeper, you would come here, you would move all your things here, and before there was that road, it was like, I was reading a thing inside that said it was a carriage ride that was like, I mean, how long did it take us to get here from the town? Like an hour?
Yeah.
And that was in a car. So if you were in like a horse and carriage, they would like send you with a certain amount of food and grains and meat and what other things do you need to survive? Clean water? Drugs? Because it was the 1800s and they were like, you have a toothache, here's some cocaine. I don't know. But you would just come up here for months and live here with your family. Oh, also, the lighthouse is turning 129 tomorrow. 129 years this has been here. You look great for your age. Not a day over 100. Not a day over 100. There's a little red light over there, and it looks like eyeballs. It wasn't. It's probably the camera. Hello? Anybody? Either this is broken, or there's no ghost here. Don't say there's a third option that ghosts aren't real. That's not true. There's only two options. Either this is broken or there's no one home, and I think that it's no one's home. And as you saw in those clips, we did take the EMF reader, which is an electromagnetic field reader. Basically, this lights up when there is electricity present, right? Okay, so if I put it on my phone, because my phone is electric, it lights up. But allegedly, if there is not anything around and you start having it go off, that could mean that there is some kind of a spiritual presence. We survived the evening. Got a great night's sleep. Did you sleep good, babe?
I slept fantastic.
Did you see any ghosts?
No, but I slept very deeply with a lot of weird dreams that I don't normally have. So.
I had a lot of very weird dreams, and there's a staircase in our room that goes up to the attic that's allegedly haunted. Allegedly. Here's the thing. I feel like this has not done anything at all. I mean, it does stuff if it's near, like, electronics, right? But I haven't caught anything yet. So I'm just going to go over to these stairs, which, how terrifying is this? Up to the attic. There you go. That was in a room, and all night long I had to not think about it, because if I thought too hard about it, I was like, ghosts. I'm gonna just put this up here like this. Is there anybody there? Anybody up there? Anybody? See? No ghosties. Also, remember last night when I was like, either this doesn't work or there's no ghost by the lighthouse? There's not ghosts by the lighthouse. Although, we did not have any ghosts last night. We just had breakfast, and there were two people who said that they had ghosties in their room last night and the night before. It was like a mom, a daughter, and a grandma, right? Mm-hmm. And the daughter said that last night she had a thing where she woke up and she could kind of see like a floating head and neck of a person. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't scared. She was like 13, so I trust her. 13-year-olds they're smart, you know what I mean? They're with it. And then also her grandma said that the night before, because the story goes that there's a ghost here named Rue, and sometimes she'll clean up in your room. So like if there's dust or things like that, she like dusts things or puts things away. And so the grandma left like a crunched up potato chip and like some candy wrappers on the nightstand just to see if anything would happen to it in the morning. And she said that she woke up because she felt like someone was tapping on her chest. And when she woke up, she said that she felt like she was being told like, hey, clean up your mess. What do you think? Do you believe it?
Oh, absolutely.
I believe it.
Ghosts don't like messes.
Ghosts. The question was not if you believe that ghosts like messes. The question was, do you believe that that happened?
Well, yeah, of course. I trust a 13-year-old, and I really.
I trust a 13-year-old, and I trust a grandma.
Yeah, I say win-win.
I'm gonna keep this with us on the next few days and see if it does anything, because it works. Because it worked when I was putting it by electric stuff.
We're gonna find something.
Just gotta find some ghosties. I just wanted to do something, just once. Actually, I did do something when I was, and of course, this is the most like, but it wasn't recording. I was like playing around with it in the hallway, and I was going down the stairs, and it was going up to like the yellow, and there was no, it was just, I was by myself, I didn't have my phone or anything. But of course, I wasn't recording, because I was like, I'm just gonna see if it does anything. And of course it did, and now I sound like one of those people that's like, did the craziest thing, a ghost attacked my friend, but the camera wasn't rolling. It really happened, I swear. You've probably seen these in ghost hunting shows. You obviously just saw they are extremely easy to manipulate, but we tried to be as skeptical as possible, even though we both are believers in the paranormal. And in our first night of this trip, I did not see this do anything even remotely strange or suspicious. After our beautiful stay at the Lighthouse, we drove into Portland, and there was a lot of activity that I could explain, but there were a few things that happened with this EMF reader that were they were weird, and we'll get into that in the next couple of episodes when I talk more about Portland. Like I said, we always try to come up with logical reasons for any weird things that happen, because while Zach and I both are 100% believers in the paranormal and we believe that spooky things happen, we also know that not every weird thing is paranormal. But like I said, there were a couple of times that we had things that we still haven't been able to come up with a good explanation for. So out the next episode of Let's Go Frightseeing for more of that spooky content. And then make sure you subscribe so you can catch all of these spooky episodes as well as my true crime content. And if you have ever been to the Heceta Head Lighthouse, or actually any haunted lighthouse, I want to know. Tell me your experiences. Send me your haunted stories to my email. That is tgicrimeday@gmail.com. And until next time, keep it spooky, and I will talk to you soon.
Yeah, that was good. Ta-da!
Ta-da! And cut!